Hello everyone, it's Simmuz here. Welcome to a brand new video. So you've probably seen it from the title and the thumbnail. Today we are going to talk about the future of The Sims, of EA, and the use of artificial intelligence. But of course, before jumping into the video, if you want to support me and my channel, leave a like to this video, subscribe, it really helps me out. And obviously let me know in the comments what you think about this. And as always, for these kind of videos where I go into more in-depth of news and information like that, I do leave in the description all the links, so I highly suggest you check them out for yourself so you can make your own informed opinion. But in this video, I will be talking about how AI might and probably will impact all the future developments by EA, and that means also the Sims 5 and other Sims projects. So I made a video talking about all the Sims projects that are happening right now, so I highly suggest you check that out as well. But these projects that I talked about in previous videos, they might be under the AI curse. And I'm saying AI curse because there is a lot of discourse around AI, and I will be going in depth on what was said and what my worries are. Because by itself, AI is just a tool, so it's not devious or devilish by itself, but it's the way it's used. But let's start from the beginning. So Andrew Wilson is the current EA CEO, and he was recently invited to a conference, which is the Morgan Stanley Technology, Media and Telecom Conference, where he held a Q&A, and a couple of questions were about AI, and the answer that he gave were kind of interesting to me, and I want to talk about them. So he was talking specifically about the effects of using AI in game development, and he did say that he finds this incredibly exciting and something that EA is embracing deeply. And saying that EA is embracing this deeply means a lot, obviously, because he's the CEO of the company. And saying deeply, it really feels like they're really honing into the AI concept. And obviously it is not a news that AI has been used in game development. It's something that we already have seen. It's something that's already present in game. Because by itself, when you were talking about AI, something that works to, for example, learn the way the game works so that they can test it, it's an AI. If it's a program that does it, that's AI. The same way enemies, for example, in a game that are programmed in a certain way to react to your player character, that's AI as well. But talking about game development specifically and saying that the EA is embracing it deeply, I think that raises a few red flags. For example, he does talk about using machine learning AI to refine gameplay elements. And specifically, he talks about the way they see how players run inside Madden. And as I said, that's something that's already been used, not only by EA but by other companies, just to check how the game works, how the players play the game. Using AI in that sense, it's not new, it's not revolutionary. But he also says that looking beyond that, generative AI is the most exciting evolution of the tech. And he thinks it's important specifically for three main reasons, for three core reasons, which are efficiency, expansion, and transformation. And that is what kind of worries me now, especially because later he also says that about 60% of all the processes have high visibility to be possibly impacted by AI, generative AI. 60% of all processes, it's more than half. That's a huge number. The plan is that to expand the use of AI and generative AI in game development to make games faster, basically. Just so that they can produce them a lot faster, get them out a lot quicker to the public, because he says the gaming market is very competitive, which is a very competitive market, and I agree with that, of course. But turning your eye towards AI for that reason, it leaves a lot of open possibilities and issues. And I also want to point out that this happened like a week after EA laid off 670 of their workers, 5% of their company, which is a very big amount of people that now don't have a job. So it was kind of in bad taste for him to go on and on about how AI is going to make the process quicker when they just had to cut 670 people from the company. I'm also gonna point out, just to be a little devil's advocate, that in 2023, Mr. Andrew Wilson got a paycheck of $20.7 million. There was a slight raise from 2022 where he got a measly $9.9 million. So he talking about the way AI is going to impact game development to make games quicker. And obviously, if you make games quicker, you get more content out, which means more money. Right after laying off people and getting a paycheck of $20 million, it's kind of shady. I'm just saying. But I am going specifically to talk about the issue that I have personally with AI. As I said already, AI by itself, especially generative AI, which means AI that creates content, that in and of itself is just a tool. And it really depends on the way people use it. But when we're talking about generative AI for art and videos, that has another layer of issues. Because in this case, we're talking about a machine that gathers art and inspiration that's already present online, so that other people created, so it's something that was made by a person, and takes that and transforms it or uses parts of it and changes it a little bit to make its own. So here we have an issue of copyright infringement and intellectual property, because a person that creates their own drawing and posts it on the internet is not also giving a company permission to use it for their own profit. For example, for using AI art, it could be a problem with copyright infringement, because as of right now, there's really not a way to protect your own art online from being used by AI, and there's really not any laws that are stopping AI in any way. So it really just opens the door for companies like EA to just use AI, get rid of their art department, which of course is less people, which means more money because you have to pay for less people, and in turn you are making products super fast, super quickly, and decently made. So that's already a big issue that nobody is caring about. No government really cares for, because no one is making laws to stop AI in any way. So generative AI, it is something that's happening, and it's scary quickly also happening, because every day we get more and more information, more and more precise picture, and more realistic things without any way to stop it or to regulate it. But we're also talking about the lack of a human connection and emotions behind a project. Because if a machine is making the art and it's making the game, there is a lack of the human component behind it. The emotion, the storytelling, the thought behind it. It's just a machine doing things that it thinks they're good. And generally speaking, there's been a lot of backlash about AI in movies and video games, especially by game developers, voice actors as well, because AI could be used to replicate voices as well. Game writers, because AI can be used to also generate scripts. And of course, artists, as I said, those are the main categories that could be affected by the rampant use of generative AI. And obviously, less people in a company means more layoffs, which is interesting. That's all been happening around the same time. I'm not saying that those people have been laid off because their job has been replaced with AI. I cannot know that, but the timing is kind of suspicious. I'm just saying it's an interesting timing between the way the CEO spoke about AI and in the company, and the way they want to promote generative AI in games and in content creation, at the same time when they are laying off 670 people from the company. So that's already like a little muddled situation in my opinion. You can obviously let me know in the comments what you think about AI content. If you think it's not that bad, if you think there are uses for it that could be very good. Like personally, I think using AI for the testing part of a game and making sure the gameplay aspects work and having a bot make sure the game works, I think that part makes sense. But using generative AI for writing, for images, for art, I think we're stepping into a weird space now because of all the issues that I said before. And I think I want to talk about also a little other thing that happened on Twitter with For Rent. So if you don't know, For Rent is the latest expansion pack for The Sims 4, and when that expansion pack was first released, a few people called out some pop-up images that come up when you're like just playing the game. There's a pop-up of like a picture. And those pictures look a little too close to an AI picture. Because of course, as of right now, AI is not perfect, so you can spot still an AI picture decently easily with issues, for example, with light source or with artifacts that are not really supposed to be there, or issues with maybe the geometry, or especially if there's human people, issues with faces or with hands, because those are very hard for an AI to recreate. So a couple people brought up a couple of these pictures saying, hey, these look kind of weird, are these AI? We want to know. And at first, the Sims team did reply and say, no, this is not AI, this was made by an artist. And people were like, yeah, okay, cool, great, but is this artist using AI and maybe you don't know? And they never really replied to that, so we really don't know if they talked to the artist. I don't know if it was an in-house artist or maybe it was another external artist they just maybe paid for the occasion, and you know, maybe they used AI and we don't know. I have to say, those pictures really, at first it didn't really bother me. Like as I first saw them, I was like, no, this seems real. And then I saw a little closer, the light sources are a little weird. There is some things that I'm kind of iffy about. But the interesting thing is that now the reply by the Sims team is gone. I was looking through Twitter to find the reply of them saying, oh no, we don't use AI in The Sims 4, no, this is not AI, don't worry, this is a real image made by a real person, and I couldn't find the tweet and I realized they deleted it. So it is interesting that they deleted it now after what the EA CEO said. Just putting it out there. Mainly what I wanted to talk about this video is that I think we are going to see more and more AI in video game development in general, but especially if you are a fan of EA products, not only Sims, but just in general their video games, we are definitely going to see EA implementing more and more AI, and maybe at this point even generative AI. I'm gonna say it, I think it's going to happen if it hasn't already happened. Because the Sims 4 thing with the For Rent stuff, it's a little weird. I'm just gonna say it, it's a little weird. They deleted it. But obviously, let me know in the comments down below what you think about AI in general, if you think that it could be used for good, if you think EA should stick with their plan, if you think they suck, and they shouldn't. Let me know, obviously, in the comments down below. I love to chat and have an open discussion about this. And let's not be mean to each other in the comments as well if you disagree with someone else. Let's have an open discussion and be nice. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and bye-bye.